Happy Sunday. This is Bobby and JJ Radio. We have Mr. Brian Betts of Keller City View. He's been in the real estate industry for 12 years. He's not from here, and he's still killing it in the San Antonio metro area. Recently, he's been in the 500K Club several months in a row. One of the top individual listing agents in our office, which is Keller City View on Huebner 910. In the last quarter of 2017, he's been killing it, bronze awards, and I can go on and on. I want to say thanks for hanging out with us today, Bri.
Hey, thank you for having me, Jake.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So, recently here you're not a San Antonio native.
I'm not.
Talk about your journey. What got you here? What got you into real estate? And what got you into the game? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been selling real estate for 12 years. Started in Salt Lake City, Utah back in 2006. I got into real estate originally because my wife and I bought a home, and I think that the agent saw us coming from about a mile away. I was also a painting contractor at the time, and I was painting these really nice places in Park City. And I was like, why am I painting these and not selling them?
Right.
So at that point, with the twofold approach, I actually went and got my real estate license and started doing business in Salt Lake City, Utah. Did it there for, 2 years before we really hit the crash.
Yeah.
That crash hit hard in Salt Lake City. I don't think that you guys really saw it here in San Antonio.
No, we had maybe 2 quarters that were terrible, and then it started inching up a little bit.
This was about a 35% drop in property value.
Wow.
It was huge. So after that, I actually built my business through that. From 2007 to 2008, I had a 136% increase in my business over year. In 2012, we had our second child and thought about getting closer to family.
Sure.
My family's still in Hot Springs, Arkansas, so we thought this was a happy medium. Still a good buffer.
Right.
So, they're not right next door.
You made both parents very angry.
So they can't just pop up on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both parents are equally angry at you. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're right in the middle of both, the in-laws. And,
Makes total sense.
Yeah. So we came here, and I started over entirely. My business there was 78% referral business. Here, I did no soul. So I came here. I started working my plan again like I did when I worked in Salt Lake. I was one of the regional trainers, so I used to train people how to talk to people, so I just went back on the phones.
Right. And talk about that. So you go into management in Utah, and then how do you feel that transition of going back and just doing it all yourself? What did you learn from that experience of building your business up in another city, and how's that help you now in Texas?
I think the grind is what we have to live for. It's really great to bring in the money and to have, the accolades and the awards and everything else. But as far as the grind, I think that's where I live. I love the grind. I love getting out there every day and banging out the phones and talking to new people and going and meeting with them.
Yeah.
And then when I sell their homes, they love me. And, hopefully we'll get back to the 70% of the business is going to be referral. But I think it's the grind. And what I've learned from helping the other agents is that the agents really don't know what they're doing, and they need that guidance. And once you're able to give them something solid to the deck that they can actually move forward on, it makes you feel better and more achieved as well.
For sure.
Doing real estate in Utah similar to doing real estate here?
Not really. It's almost entirely different. The things about the differences from Salt Lake to San Antonio, I think the main thing would be not a lot of agents here market properties. There, it's like, what I do was pretty standard. Here, what I do is not standard at all. It's actually a lot more advanced than most of the other agents. Yeah.
And so talk about that. So I know that you're primarily one of the main listing agents at our office. So let's talk about, walk us through us being a new client or anyone being a client of yours. If they're interested in putting their house in the market, what should they expect with you?
Well, Sure. Well, what I do first is I make sure that I get to know them. I get to know what their wants and needs are, what their goals are, what they're looking to achieve out of me meeting with them. Then we go over a game plan. I look at the actives, the solds, and the expireds that are in the area so we can see what our competition is, see what the solds are, what they actually did to successfully sell the home, and what the expireds are, what they didn't do right, and make sure that we're not making the same mistakes. From there, we heavily market the property. I have a really 3-pronged approach: professional photography, massive internet presence because I've been doing this so long, and targeted direct marketing on social media platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Sure. And so talk about how important just the first prong, and how the professional photos and how it can really change or make or break that listing.
So you're not using your flip phone for pictures?
Never, no. And the funny thing about it is the flip phone. I used to have one of those. I think it was a Pearl. But the main thing that a buyer will do when they look at it online, they're going to buy the home before they ever step foot in it. And the photography is really key to actually get that, because we're talking about omnipresence. So we want to make sure that we're everywhere. And with so much noise in the market, you want to make sure that you stand above it. The professional photography really helps you stand above it. And of course, you have to have good copy and at the same point be omnipresent. So you want to make sure you're everywhere buyers are.
For sure. And let's talk about that second prong. So where do you feel the buyers are right now? Because I think when we first started real estate in 2004 here, magazines was the big hubbub back then. And
Sure.
lawn signs were like the only way you would really know what's on the market, but it's definitely shifted. And I feel we have less power as brokers and agents. So what do you feel all the buyers are, where are they and how are they looking at properties?
I see that the less power, as we used to control the information, and now information is pretty much free.
Sure.
And I think that's also a good thing because it'll help us do our job better, and it'll help us get more focused on what we're looking for. The buyers are online. Magazine and print ads, I think it was like 0.2% or something.
Open houses are like 3%.
Open houses are good for the buyers' agents. It's not really good for the sellers.
Right.
It's a really great way for me to pick up a lot of new buyers on your listing.
But the odds of someone walking in there and being qualified and actually ready is just, it's almost slim to none.
My first 4 years in business, I set and did open houses every single week, Saturday and Sunday for like 4 years, right? I never sold one house that I was actually sitting in.
But
I
you sold Brian Betts
a lot of homes,
Yeah.
but never one that I was actually sitting in. Picked up a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers.
No, for sure. So that's where, so you feel that everyone's online looking at houses. And then you said the last prong is social media. So how do you feel your presence on social media and what do you do different?
Well, what I like to do on social media is I pay good money to the stuff that people give Facebook for free. I pay good money to make sure I put the house in front of the demographic that I think is going to buy the property, and I make sure that that home comes up in their feed. So when they're just flipping through Facebook on a Saturday afternoon, all of a sudden that home that they've been looking for comes up, and I base that demographic on certain criteria.
Well, Siri's listening to them anyways, and so I'm sure when they mention to their wife, like over breakfast, that they might want to buy a house, and I'm sure that's when you can pop up right there.
Absolutely, and Google too.
I love it. All right, so Brian, how can someone get a hold of you if they're looking for real estate?
My number is 210-910-7361. You can always email me at betts@kw.com. That's BETTS@kw.com. You can always find me on bettshomes.com as well.
Cool. Take a quick break. Be right back with Bobby and JJ Radio.